Human rights lawyer Femi Falana has condemned the National Assembly over decision to allocate 70 billion naira as palliative for its members. Falana, in a press statement released yesterday, Sunday, said the move is illegal and contemptuous. The allocation of 70 billion naira disbursed among 306 newly elected members in addition to 40 billion naira set aside for the purchase of SUVs that are bulletproof cars for principal officials and members have become contentious, with many Nigerians criticizing the lawmakers for being insensitive at this time when the economy is biting hard. In a statement, Falana called their attention to the breach of relevant provisions of the Nigerian Constitution and urged the immediate reversal of these controversial measures. However, the legislators have approved the sum of 500 billion naira for 12 million indigent people in the country, where the Nigerian Bureau of Statistics has said that 62.9% of people, that is 103 million Nigerians, are multidimensional poor. If you recall, that President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, while seeking the approval of the National Assembly to borrow $800 million from the World Bank, revealed the plan of his administration to transfer 8,000 naira monthly to 12 million low-income households for 6 months. In a letter read at the upper chambers by the Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, on Thursday, Mr. President noted that the money will be transferred directly to the beneficiary's account. According to the President, the monies are expected to stimulate economic activities in the informal sector and improve the living in the beneficiary household. And he said in order to guarantee a credibility of the process, digital transfer will be made directly to beneficiaries' account and mobile wallets. The move was sequel to the very high increase in prices of essential goods and services, including food items, transportation fare, and others occasioned by the removal of the fuel subsidy. But the reaction has continued to trail that move by Mr. President, while some hailing it and others totally in disagreement, making us ask the big question: would the palliative be the best way to go? And how will the poorest of the poor be determined to benefit from this? Well, this and more as it concerns the palliative for Nigerians and the legislators is what this edition of The Big Story is all about. And that is the 500 billion naira palliative and the controversy over its disbursement. And that's what we're having as a major discourse today on The Big Story. We're talking about that 500 million naira palliative by no other but President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and the controversy over its disbursement, especially as we're beginning to hear that many are already kicking against 8,000 naira for 8 indigent Nigerians. And what we mean indigent, we mean the poorest of the poor. But anyway, having a rich discussion is what we plan to do today on the show, centered on this. Hence, we have an economist and politician, right, to mix it up that way. And I'm talking of no other person but Chief, or rather, I'll call him Olorogun Magege, helping out with the discussion. Good morning and welcome to the show, sir.
Good morning, and good morning, viewers and listeners.
Well, I'll not be wrong putting Olorogun there, do?
No, they mean the same thing. Chief Olorogun, they mean the same thing.
Okay, well, anyway, I'm happy I made no mistake in doing that, but I know we need to talk about this because of the reactions it seems to be creating and controversies surrounding how that process will go. But I know a lot of reaction, like I said, has continued to trail the decision of the 500 billion naira to 12 families as palliative. Now, let's look at what Mr. President said on his account of requesting for such and the move he will make. Now, according to Mr. President, the monies are expected to stimulate economic activities in the informal sector and improve the living in the beneficiary's household. Now, my question, looking at what he said he intends to do. Now, as an economist, I'm really keen to get your reaction. Are you in support of these monies, 8,000 naira to 12 million poor Nigerians VAT transfer, or are you totally against it? And if you are, why?
You see, the 8,000 naira is not to 12 million Nigerians.
12 million households.
12 million households.
Which would translate to about 60 million Nigerians.
Oh, yes. You see, is the National Bureau of Statistics had estimated a household to be papa, mama, and 3 children. That is 5.
Yes.
So we're talking of 8,000 naira for 5 persons a month.
Okay. So that's why we add 12 times 5, which is
60 million. And let's look at what 8,000 naira a month, which goes down to 53 naira a day for a person. 53 naira a day. What can he do with 53 naira that will stimulate the economy? I will demonstrate for you if you allow me.
Oh, yes, I would.
Now.
Oh, Jesus. Well, forgive me.
This is Popo Gari tapioca.
Okay. Yes.
50 naira.
Okay.
This is garden egg. 4 pieces. 50 naira. This is akpu. 50 naira. And this is granite. 50 naira. So I am going to spend the 50 naira that is my share. Assuming I'm on the list.
Okay.
Now, a day, I can eat this garden egg, 50 naira. So my 50 naira is gone. Or, I can take this akpu, 50 naira, put a cup of water, and cut it. Maybe I can cut this 2 times or 3 times. Dip into the water and swallow, because I've gotten only 50 naira. There will be no soup, nothing.
Okay.
Or, this Popo Gari, 50 naira. You see, these are exclusive. They are not mutually inclusive. They are not.
Yeah.
I can't have this and have this. I have to make a choice of garden egg.
But if you have a family of 5, you can also add 1 more granite to it.
Wow.
It's 50
naira for me.
Okay.
So unless I ask Mama, bring your 50 naira, we buy Popo Gari, we share the granite and we share the Popo Gari. Or bring your 50 naira, we share 2 garden egg each, and we share the granite. Of course, we can't use granite to eat akpu.
Well, it will be a very terrible mix.
So this is what Tinubu is proposing for us. Now we stimulate the economy. The economy of buying granite alone for a day, and that's your meal. Or buying garden egg a day, and that's your meal. Or buying akpu, this is more filling anyway. You eat this, maybe you can cut this 2 or 3 times. I don't know about you. Some people will swallow this once.
Okay.
So,
well,
so this is what the 8,000 naira per household per month will do.
So with your illustration, it's a no for you.
It's a no-no. It's absolutely a no-no, a direction in the wrong way. You want to go to Lagos, you are driving towards Port Harcourt. You are going the wrong direction. That's my feeling. That is my answer to that question.
Okay, now, as much as you've said that, I really want us to still deal with the issues. Well, you're totally against that very move of Mr. President. But for
the 8,000 naira allocation.
For the 8,000 naira allocation.
Yes, per month.
Now, let's look at some of the issues he said it will deal with. Like you said, we do know that these 12 million households will amount to about 60 million Nigerians in the long run. And like I said, it's sequel to the increase in the prices of goods and services. That's why he's making these moves. But my question next is, will it deal with the issues that's associated with the problem of the removal of the fuel subsidy? And one I want us to look at, undermining, you've just done a very clear illustration on what the money will amount for. But let's look at some others that seems to be also in the economy. And one I want us to first look at is inflation. Now, if he puts in 500 billion naira into the economy, will it help to deal with the inflation that is already hovering around 22.41%? Do you see that happening?
It depends on how he does it, but certainly not this way.
He said he would do.
Yes.
Okay.
take for instance now, you want to allocate 8,000 naira per month for 6 months.
Okay.
That comes to 48,000 naira, isn't it?
Yes.
For the period
for
of
the
the
period.
6 months.
Yeah.
Rather than giving 8,000 naira a month, why not give the 48,000 naira once?
Okay.
En bloc.
Okay.
To a household. My Madam Gary, the woman supplying me Gary at home, buys a Gary on credit. 22,000 naira a bag of Gary.
Yeah.
And she hawks and returns the money as she sells. If that woman has the 48,000 naira in her hand, she will be able to go bulk.
Yeah.
She will be able to go straight to the market and buy and cut off the middle person who she is buying on credit from, and probably will sell about 2,000 to 3,000 naira per bag.
Okay.
She goes to the market. She exhausts a bag within 3 days.
Okay.
Which means that within a week she will exhaust 2 bags.
Okay.
The 2 bags she will be able to save 6,000 naira a week.
Okay. Okay.
6 times 4.
It's 24.
It's 24. She has made a saving of 24,000 naira, which is 3 times the 8,000 naira Mr. President would have given to her if it were given piecemeal.
Yes.
8,000. So if we give that woman 48,000, within a month she will be able to make 24,000 naira profit savings from her business. Whereas the principal, the 48,000, the capital still remains with her. She has improved her economic well-being.
Yeah.
In that sense, multiply that across the 12 million households. That certainly will boost the economy.
Okay. But if you feel the approach is the issue, irrespective of the approach, are we going to have any slight improvement when it comes to the issue of inflation? Because inflation is the reason he's even giving this money out in the first place. Not just only to stimulate the economy, but also, we'll come to the economy soon. The inflation is spiraling out of control. It is at even in the papers today, we even get to hear that it will soon be around 24%, which is really, really scary. And in most likelihood, in the next 2 months, we're hitting an inflation rate of 24%, gradually fitting in with the removal of the subsidy. So, are you saying that not even in the mode of transfer, if we had it in bond, okay, we would have done very well, but are we going to see any difference dealing with that 500 billion naira into the economy? Is it going to have any effect when it comes to the issue of inflation? You see,
if you look at inflation strictly, from the point of view of money being put into the general public, we are getting it wrong.
Okay.
Foreign exchange, where naira is dancing downwards, is a major factor in an import-dependent economy. Import-dependent economy. What the 5 billion, the 500 billion naira will do is going to stimulate the development in the informal sector. Okay. What we mean by the informal sector? The mechanic, the farmer, the trader. That's where this 500 billion will stimulate.
Okay.
And if we move the money into consumption, and what I mean by consumption, you buying give the money out and use it to buy whatever you want to buy and eat. That is not productive. Consumption generally inflates, leads to inflation because few money chasing surplus goods, and the goods will be now expensive. And that's what we call inflation, is the rise of prices.
Okay.
Are you?
So you mean more money chasing fewer goods, and which would generally lead to inflation. So we might likely get more inflation on account of this rather than having a reduction in the inflation rate. That's what you're saying.
So let us face production rather than consumption. Okay. The way Tinubu is packaging this thing is 500 billion into consumption
rather than
into production.
So you're quite sure that it will not stimulate the economy? Because why I'm asking so If you remember, the World Bank forecast for our economy is 2.8%. That's what they said our economy will be this year. And 2.8% is really, really an outcry compared to other African countries that estimated. Even South Africa, 3.2% is what their growth rate will be, but ours is going to be 2.8%. So are you saying this money will not stimulate any economic growth, will not also increase the economy of these indigent Nigerians that are going to benefit from it?
They will just buy things that they will eat on the spot. It won't even satisfy them. That's the point I'm making. Because you are going to give it to them in piecemeal. Direct it at their productive capacity, their capability.
Not their
consumption capability.
No. Okay.
You are, by packaging it together, bulk money. They will now have to sit down and say, what can I do with this money to improve my life? You see, inflation is how to improve the value of money in your hand, the value in the money. What can it buy more? Can it buy more things that are necessary for you
to survive?
So that is what this money should go for. But if we are going to direct it to consumption, well, so maybe I don't think 15 naira can buy any bottle of beer. I don't think so.
Okay, now let's leave that. And I know you feel strongly about the mode of transfer that is going to likely be. And I want us to look at some other major challenges. And because according to Mr. President, he said in order to guarantee credibility and accountability, he would definitely have these transfers directly to the account of the beneficiaries. And not just their account, but also to their mobile wallets. But two major challenges that I feel these will have to face. Now, the very first one is, how does he get the list of the poorest of the poor when our number one problem in planning in the country is lack of proper data or data? That's number one. And the second question I want to ask is, do for the poorest, do they often have accounts that you transfer these monies to? Because if I could still remember, a 2021 World Bank report showed that only 45% of Nigerian adults have bank accounts. And another same 2021 study also shows that nearly 1 in 2 adults don't use any formal financial service. And more than 1 in 3 Nigerian adults are completely financially excluded. And the majority of them are in the rural areas. So those are the two biggest questions on account of what he plans to do in sending the money directly into their account and to their mobile wallet. So how are we going to get the full list of those that are the poorest of the poor? Because I do know we made a mockery of this during the weekend when I said I'm quite sure your name is not on that list. And you said you went through the list and you also said
your name is not on the list either.
Okay, so how do we get a full understanding of who should be on that list? And not just that, but how now can you transfer these monies to persons that are most likely not going to have a bank account? Talk less of a mobile wallet.
That makes it ridiculous. That makes the whole thing ridiculous. I live in a suburban community,
Agbaro, yeah.
And in Agbaro, there are about 15 villages where the poor of the poor are. The people, the families that Tinubu wants to target.
The indigent.
The indigent. They don't even have mobile phone. No talk of wallet. You can't get a wallet without having a mobile phone.
Of course. And an Android phone.
An Android phone for that. An Android, they should be able to operate the Android phone in the first place. So you are going to transfer money to people who don't have the receptor of that money. You just tell us that the money is going to other people's pocket. It's as simple as that. But there can be a better way of organizing this thing. There can be a better way of utilizing this money. Yes, they have what they call about 60 million people in their social security network, social network database. Yeah. They have that. We don't know how they secure that, how they got that. Are we going back to the feeding of children, school children, by that lady, the minister, where she was disbursing 500 billion every month to feed people. Is that what we are going back to? I don't know of one person, one people in school, one student that is being fed in the entire Uganda North local government. I don't know one. And I don't know if you know one. So this program is designed to fail the way it is now. If you are going to send money to people who don't have the means to receive the money, it's either the money will hang in the air or it will go to different people's accounts, different people's pockets. I don't know how he's going to distribute the money. But the method that he's certainly talking about
it's not applicable.
It's not applicable. It's not workable. It's simply not workable.
And we'll walk around this and we'll still talk more as it concerns that very palliative. But I'll plead with you to hold on. And undermining we're not on that list. But we need to go on a break and see how we can also fund ourselves. And while we come back, we'll continue our discussion as we look at the palliative, the 500 billion naira to 12 million households. And what will that be for Nigerians? 8,000 monthly and 48,000 at the end of 6 months. Will that change the narrative, especially as it concerns the removal of fuel subsidy, and help cushion those effects Mr. President is talking about? Or would it in every way stimulate an economy that's already projected to just grow at 2.8% by the World Bank? All of that is what we're still looking at, as much as we look at the National Assembly and 70 billion of their own palliative. Well, now you know where you need to be. Well, be with us here. But let's go on a break.